Good morning, Unity family. Good morning. Come on in. It's good to see you. Yeah.
Wakey.
I want to say thank you for everyone who is here today and everyone that is watching on live stream. Hello. I want to let you know that I have just returned from Unity Village, where I went to convention and I went to graduation, and so now it's, 5 days closer to me graduating from ministerial school. So I'm very much excited about everything that I learned and everything that I experienced this week. So I'm filled with imagination, and which is what I'm going to talk about today. But the theme for this month is protection. And so I just want to take a moment to open us up in a prayer that will have us centered and open. We see each one of us as a divine being, filled with the love of God, filled with the strength, the will, the guidance. We know that everything that we go through each day is a culmination of all of the powers that we have within us, working together to provide the highest and best outcome for us. We see the protection of our Christ selves, that absolute part of us that is perfect, whole, and healed, that needs nothing else but to be love. And we take this aspect of ourselves out into the world each day, and we share it with generosity, with compassion, and with a caring for each person, each being that we meet. We see the Christ in everyone. And so as we continue through today, through tomorrow, through this week, through the rest of this year, let us hold the high watch for everyone we meet, seeing them in the brightest light, in the best and highest aspect of themselves. And we say, thank you, God, for the ability to be with one another. We say, thank you, God, for everything. And so it is. Amen. So if you'd like to join us with the opening song, you can stand.
You should stand.
If you want to.
You can dance if you want to.
You can dance if you want to.
We're not going to do that song, but we might. All right. We take all that we are and all that we have, and then we circulate. We take the gifts that God gives and the love that we live, and then we circulate. We look around and we share to show others we care, to extend God's plan of love, to be all that we are, to share all that we have. We circulate. We take all that we are and all that we have, and then we circulate. Put your right foot in, put your right foot out, put your right foot in, then you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey, then you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Left foot, you put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in, then you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey, then you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Hokey pokey, you do the hokey pokey, you do the hokey pokey, you do the hokey pokey. To be all that we are, to share all that we have, we circulate.
Good morning, Unity of Medina. Welcome again. Here at Unity, we affirm our core values of integrity, joy, acceptance, love, and spiritual growth. June is the power of imagination. Michele will light the blue candle to signify that. Would you join me in our vision? I envision good unfolding every area of my life. Today's daily word reading is generous. I honor the divinity in others through my generosity. There have been times when I relied on the generosity of others. I remember feeling grateful when they shared what they had with open hearts, not thinking of how I might repay their kindness. This is a true gift of generosity, not just the material offered or the services rendered, but the feeling I am worthy of someone's time, treasure, and effort. This love and compassion is at the heart of my generous impulses too. I give not out of pity or even out of obligation or duty, but so others may know their worthiness through me. Each person is a divine being made in the image and likeness of God. I honor each person's divinity by doing what I can to help and support them as others have helped and supported me. Today's passage is taken from Proverbs 22:9. Those who are generous are blessed, for they share their bread with the poor. And now Angie will prepare us for meditation.
Peace within me, peace surrounding me, peace from me. By thy grace let there be peace. Peace within me, peace surrounding me, peace from me. By thy grace let there be peace. Ekankar Satanam Siri Waheguru. Ekankar Satanam Siri Waheguru. Ekankar Satanam Siri Waheguru. Ekankar Satanam Siri Waheguru. Peace Peace surrounding me, peace from me. By thy grace let there be peace. By thy grace let there be peace. By thy grace let there be peace.
So we're going to do a meditation on imagination. But with every meditation, we start with the breath. So breathe in and breathe out. And with every breath, see yourself filling up with a light blue light. This is the light of imagination. Imagination is in our mind's eye, the third eye, the part of our brain that lights up when we believe and when we see what is possible. Divine imagination is your true nature. You are one with creative, divine design. Picture now a place that gives you comfort. If you can't see it, sense it, smell it, feel it in some way. We rest in the knowing that we are safe, that we are comfortable, that we are loved. Through the power of imagination, we claim our divine identity and become who we really are in spirit. Connect with that divine consciousness. Feel the emotions behind that connection. And take a moment in the silence. Power of imagination, we reach beyond assumptions and limitations. We dream of magnificent possibilities. By the power of conception, we see the marvelous ideas of what I can be, what I can do, and what I can have as part of my experience. And it is all good. And so as we continue through this day, take another deep breath in. Feel yourself coming back to this space and time. And rest in the knowing that you are a creative being of light. And so it is. Hello, everybody. Oh, I like that living room scene there. I want to have that in my house. I guess I'm going to have to envision that and hold it in my consciousness. When I started thinking about what to talk about with imagination, there were so many different ideas that came in, and I had to narrow it down. I had, like pages and pages of notes. I probably have like 6 talks here. Don't worry, we're not going to do them all today. But imagination to me is one of the easiest things to do, but maybe not the easiest to conceptualize. Some people feel that they don't have a good imagination, that they can't see things in their mind's eye. But I think that anything that we do takes practice, and that everyone has the ability to imagine in some form. Some of us see things, some of us can smell things, some of us can hear things. And those are all forms of the senses that we can use to create and to imagine. Our imagination is essential to creating a life of purpose, of happiness, and of abundance. And we were meant to be creative. It is one of our 12 powers because it is so essential to us. As human beings, we imagine things all the time. Sometimes we call that worry. Sometimes we call that anticipation. But it's still our imagination at work. When I was younger, I used to imagine that I was a detective. I read all the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books, Trixie Belden, Arthur Conan Doyle, Agatha Christie, all of them. Loved them. And so I always wanted to be an investigator, a private investigator. I thought that would be so cool because, you know, you don't have to really do anything and you get to pry into people's lives and figure stuff out. So why wouldn't I want to do that? Later on, as I grew up, it evolved that I wanted to be an archaeologist. Again, still kind of investigating how life was way back when. Then I realized that you had to get dirty, and you used a lot of, did a lot of nitpicking things that took forever, and there wasn't really an economical way to do that without writing grants and stuff like that, and I didn't want to do any of that. So I ended up in engineering. That was kind of a fluke for me because I was working at Marshall Fields in their operations department, and part of my job was to make sure that the point of sale cash registers were working properly, that they were getting the right sale information and that kind of thing. And so if there was something that didn't work right at a particular register, I would have to call support, and they would walk me through steps of how to go about fixing it. And after a while, I started thinking, well, I don't have to call them. I know I can do these 5 steps, and most of the time it's going to come back. So I only called them after I had done all of those things. And I started to think and imagine, well, why couldn't I be an engineer? Why couldn't I do this? So I went to DeVry Institute of Technology. There was a campus in Columbus. And I talked to them about joining the program and what would work for me and everything. And I signed up. I filled out paperwork. I got my student loan forms. Still have those student loans, by the way. And then I went home to dinner, and my dad asked me how my day went and what was the best thing about it. And I said, well, I'm going back to college, and I'm going to be an engineer. Now, in his mind, I had just blurted this thing out like I had never thought about it before. But in reality, I had imagined it for quite some time and had realized that it was something that I was good at and that I wanted to be a part of. He was excited for me, but he didn't necessarily think that I had thought things through all the way. But I told him that through my imagination, I was able to see the possibilities of what I could do and who I could be. When I look at my power of imagination, I think it's pretty strong. I can be creative. I can be intuitive. I can conceive of new ideas. And I really like the idea of visioning, whether I'm visioning with a vision board on paper, or doing a guided meditation, or just envisioning the life that I want to live. And my title today is about living. And I had the small living, lowercase living, and then the uppercase living in the title. And what that reminded me of was that I can live my life any way that I want to, but that if I'm living through the power of my imagination and being connected to that Christ nature, when I'm living fully, I am living large, and I am living out loud, and I am a force to be reckoned with. And I feel that we all can do that. Sometimes we just live life going through the motions. You know, you get up, you make your breakfast, you drink your coffee, you brush your teeth, you pray, you meditate, you go to work, you come home, you hang out with your family, eat dinner. And that's all well and good, and that's fine. And as long as you're content and happy, that's great. But so many times our imagination can think of other things that we might want to do. I used to be very musically inclined. I played the flute, and I played the trumpet, and I sang in the choir. Now, I don't sing as well as I used to because I haven't continued to practice. I can't play the trumpet at all because I don't even remember the notes. But anytime I hear "Celebrate" by, thank you, Kool and the Gang. I just had it right there. So Kool and the Gang, when I hear "Celebrate," I'm thinking, I played that. I knew how to do that. And it was awesome. And that's how we can use our imagination. I was listening to a story just the other day about a gentleman who was a piano player, and he was an aficionado, and he ended up in prison for something in his country, and he was imprisoned for 7 years. Now, when he got out of prison, they wanted him to start playing again. And nobody really expected him to do that well because he hadn't had access to a piano for 7 years. But the first night he got up on the stage, he blew them away. He was so magnificent. And so the critics and the reporters and everybody asked him, how was this possible? How were you able to do this? And he's like, I practiced every day in my mind. I saw every note of every piece of music that I had ever played, and I continued to practice and play. I continued to be that musician that I knew that I was. And we see that in science, in athletic science, that athletes, when they get injured, can envision themselves continuing to do their work, whatever that is, dribbling in basketball, or using their feet in soccer, or running, envisioning themselves running if they are in track and field. And as they heal, they mend themselves, and they find that they can do that much better, that they are that much closer to being in that perfection. And so we know through unity and through science that imagination is real. That imagination helps us with the ideas that we can conceive, that it allows us to vision limitless possibilities, And then it allows us to also embody those ideas. Because in imagination, we can form a mental image. It could be something that we know of or something that we've never fully perceived. But when we embody it, when we become it, it's infused within us. It not only travels through our neurological self, it goes through our physical self, and we can do it. The optimum word there is the doing, because we know that we need to take action still on those dreams. I can dream as much as anyone about winning the lottery, but if I don't actually play the lottery, I'm probably not going to get the winning numbers. Now, I also don't think that it's realistic that I would win the lottery because, it's a 1 in a billion shot. It might be less than that. But I do know that if you get struck by lightning, that it's only 1 in 10,000, and I've already been struck by lightning, so I know that I'm that much closer to winning the lottery than I ever have been before. Because the odds are in my favor. It wasn't directly. I'll just say that. I'm fine. As far as everyone knows, I'm fine. But when I go through and think about what I can do in my imagination, I can think of limitless possibilities. I was able to envision myself in a new car many years ago, and instead of getting an actual new car, I bought a rental, or bought a leased vehicle, and it ended up being perfect for my needs. It ended up being exactly what I wanted, except it wasn't blue. Now, if I had limited myself to saying I wanted a blue car, then I might not have picked that. But what I wanted was something that was simple, that would get me from point A to point B, that was cute. It had to be cute. And that hamsters rode in. That's why I got a Kia Soul. I could envision that and embody that. One of the things that I did want to talk about was how we can use our imagination for our good. So there are things that have happened in my life that haven't been that great. And I know that there are people in the world that are struggling with things that happen in their lives all the time. But there doesn't have to be a sadness or an anger or a worry about those things, because we can revision. We can make a revision to our lives. It doesn't mean that we're negating what happened in our lives, but we can reframe it so that we can see the good that comes out of it. When I was growing up, my parents got divorced, and I realized at a young age that my mother was an alcoholic. And she was a functional alcoholic in that she went to work and she did everything that she needed to do, but there were times when I needed her to be my mom and she wasn't available. And so it hurt, and it made me sad, but I used my imagination to figure out how to get things taken care of. So I did steal the car once, and I didn't have my license yet. But I only went like 3 blocks down the road just to get us groceries, because I was like, well, it can't be that hard to drive, so let's go ahead and do that. I wanted to be an athlete, so I practiced and I worked to play softball and soccer and tennis. And anytime that I thought that I wanted to be something, I would imagine it. I even one time created a record album out of cardboard, and I wrote a poem. It was supposed to be a tribute to my grandmother. So I wrote a poem that I turned into a song that I wanted to share, and I put it on the record cover. You know how old record covers sometimes had the words to the songs on them? And I created the whole design of the album cover and everything. And I was so proud of that. And my grandmother never got to see it, but it reminded me of her every time. And it was something that I could hold on to. But if I hadn't envisioned the idea of creating that, I wouldn't have had that to keep me close to my grandmother. When I got older, my mother got sober, and she had complications, health challenges and stuff like that. So I brought her to Cleveland with me. And at first, she was really upset about being moved, taken out of her home, all her stuff. We had to get rid of most of her stuff because she lived in a really big house, and we were moving her to a one-bedroom apartment. And she was not happy. But what I did was I envisioned her flourishing. I envisioned her being the best her that she could be. And I thought I turned my phone off. I'm sorry. It just rang. I envisioned her being the best her that she could be. And you know what? Within 6 months, she was having the time of her life. She's like, I really enjoy being with all these people. She started doing, playing games, like card games and bingo and things like that. She started doing puzzles again, which she really loved to do. And we started playing Scrabble again, and she always beat me at Scrabble. So she was a really smart lady. She taught me all the words that I now know to beat you at Scrabble. Because I could never beat her. The one time I beat her, there was a Z missing. I'm just saying, it was a triple word score possibility, but we didn't have it. So just to summarize, to conclude, because I said a lot more about my personal life than I planned to, but it all just came flooding in. I was reading an article that said that imagination is called the scissors of the mind. That it is ever cutting, day by day, the pictures that we see, and that sooner or later we can meet our creations that we cut and design out into the outer world. To train the imagination successfully, we must understand the workings of the mind. And we know through the Greeks that we need to know thyself. So getting to know who we are in truth, getting to know who we are meant to be, and visioning those ideas, we can create the me that we want to be. I envisioned a couple of years ago that I wanted to become a minister. And the one thing that kept me from doing that was my own self-doubt. But I continue to visualize what that would look like for me, how that would feel, and I step into that. I went to a workshop once where they had a lady that was teaching us a visioning technique for before you get up on stage. And she talked about the circle of excellence. And without hesitation, I said out loud, I want a circle of excellence. And so she's like, okay, come on up. I'll teach you how to do it. And she taught me how to do a circle of excellence. And it is a visioning technique that allows me to see myself doing the best parts of me, being the best part of me. And I can just move over into it. I don't have to stay where I am. I can move. And I think that's the essence of imagination, is that we can vision it, we can see it, but we still have to move. We still have to do it. We have to conceive it and believe it to achieve it. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
I have a song I wrote called Shade Dwellers that I thought would work with your talk. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and daring to dream. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. I think the song speaks for itself. I usually play this on guitar, so bear with me with this very out-of-tune piano today. We're going to get it tuned. Don't dream in pieces, it won't be loud. If you want castles, don't live in doubt. Grab that ray of sunshine barehanded. When it burns, don't let it go. You can't take your clock for granted, 'cause when it stops, what's left will sow. Don't get lost in your shadow. The shade won't nudge like the meadow. And when the fear fills your sorrow, embrace it back to save tomorrow. Your thoughts of reason can cut your wings. If you want magic, don't run when it stings. Take that ray of sunshine inside you, and when you laugh, make sure they hear. The shade dwellers will follow what you do, so make more treasures from every tear. Don't get lost in your shadow. The shade won't nudge like the meadow. When the fear
Thank you, Angie. That was beautiful. I couldn't tell the piano was out of tune. Of course, I'm tone deaf, so it doesn't matter. I sing in the key of J, so. Anyway, for the announcements today, we'd like to remind you that the congregational meeting will be held after service on Sunday, July 14th. And the family picnic is on Sunday, August the 11th. Now, in the newsletter, that date came out wrong. So it's August the 11th. So put that on your calendars. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. Michele Coles has agreed to be the chairperson for the picnic committee. Sign-up sheet in the back room. We'd like to have everybody there if we can. It's always a fun time. Help is wanted to provide the hospitality snack after service for the second and fourth Sunday of each month. This is not a lifetime commitment. Current volunteers are Carol Maggot, Ken Kirstein, Margene Mitchell. Please join the team. It's both fun and rewarding, and the congregation and Will and I both really appreciate it. Yeah.
That position has been filled.
Oh. Done deal, huh? All right. Well, that was much faster than I anticipated. Telling you. Pretty cool. Okay. So you don't have to contact Margene anymore. Or you can volunteer for the future if you want to. Work out well, too. Our church received a request from the Medina Personal Care Pantry to, 1, pray for the pantry and their continuing mission, which is to provide personal care, cleaning, and paper products for families and seniors in need. And this is very basic personal care stuff people need. You know, we're not talking about taking them grocery shopping or anything. This is like paper products and things like that, and hygiene needs they have. Consider leading a product collection drive here. And they also ask that Unity consider making a monthly or one-time monetary donation. We certainly can pray for their success, and your board decided to hold a product collection drive for the months of July, August, and September. A basket will be placed in the hallway to collect the donations, and Sally Manuel offered to deliver these items to the pantry. A list of their most needed items has also been posted in the back. Both their church and us, we thank you for your generosity. Now, Michele will lead us in the blessing of one another and any guests that are here today.
Hi again. I don't see anyone that's here for the first time. But you know what? We can imagine that we're here for the first time. Let us take a moment to hold everyone that is on live stream with us in our hearts and to look at everything as new. And let us affirm together. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you. Thank you for being here. And now we will get ready for our offertory, which I imagine is going to be very great and very generous. When we get together, we are gifted with music and message and companionship and snacks. And all of this is part of what makes Unity of Medina so wonderful. And so as you consider the gifts that you are giving to support this community and this organization, hold them in your hands. And let us repeat our offertory prayer together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are grateful.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
Father, Mother, God, we bless each gift that is given to us today. We bless each heart and each giver that gives with their generosity. We see each one as the Christ essence that they are. We thank you for all the prayers in the prayer box being answered, for the highest and best achievement for everyone who has a prayer, spoken or unspoken. And we envision a world that will work for all people, imagining peace, compassion, and love. And we see that all of it, each thing, is good, and we are so grateful. And so it is. Amen. All right, let's get together in our closing circle and share our closing song.